Greetings from sunny and temperate Costa Mesa, California. My name is Luke Johnson. I'm your Saints beat writer for the New Orleans Times-Picayune, and I'm here with Jeff Duncan, our sports columnist. We are out here in Costa Mesa to see joint practices between the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Chargers. Today, Jeff, I got to take a look at the Saints defense versus the Chargers first-team offense. You got to take a look at the flip side of things. So let's start with you. What were your kind of key takeaways from today's joint practices?
Well, as usual in these things, Luke, a lot of good and a lot of bad, right? It's kind of a mixed bag, and we saw that from the Saints offense. This basically, the way these things work, it's very similar to what the Saints do in their own practices when they work against each other. Situational work, 2-minute offense, goal line work. And I thought the Saints, overall, I felt like the Chargers probably won more often than they lost. But there's still a lot of good positive things out of the Saints. We saw Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson have a lot of key catches, something we've seen throughout the offseason, throughout training camp. Both those guys are going to have big years, there's no doubt about it. It's good to see them do that work against the Chargers today. I thought Mike Thomas had some good moments today. And Derek Carr, when he had time, and I think that was the key, when he had time, he was able to effectively work the offense. He didn't have a lot of time. And we know that the Chargers have an incredible pass rush with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, and that was evident today. Not a lot of time for the Saints offense to operate in the passing attack, but when they did have time, they were effective.
Okay, so quick question about that. This is something we talked about before practice even started. 70, I mean, it's a huge year for him, and he's playing a crucial role in this. Obviously, we're referring to Trevor Penning, the second-year left tackle. Got a big, tough task out here.
Yeah.
How did he fare today?
Well, I mean, look, it's a trial by fire against these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two of the best in the league, and Khalil Mack might be an NFL Hall of Famer one day. And look, he got a baptism by fire today. There were some times when he held up well, but it's going to take some time. There's no doubt about it. And this is how you learn out here in these type of sessions. I'll be eager to see how he responds tomorrow, but there just wasn't a lot of time for either Jameis Winston or Derek Carr because the pressure off the edge, and that's where he's had trouble in the past. He had one holding call, I know. He had a pre-snap penalty as well, so it was kind of a rough day, but I kind of expected that today, and it's less important how he fared today than how he fares going forward tomorrow at practice and also in the game on Sunday.
All right, so Jeff was out there with the offense today. I was on the defensive side of the ball. Going into today, my big thing was watching these Saints defensive backs who I think are, that's one of the strong areas of this team going up against a really, really talented Chargers receiving core. And, man, I think I was writing down in my notebook, like it feels like Keenan Allen caught about 50 passes today. And it was close.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He had 11 catches on 4 targets in, like, the competitive drills. I mean, dude is one of the best route runners in the NFL. Big, strong, savvy, tough player. But I think once the Saints kind of got they got settled in a little bit. They played a lot better in the second half of practice. There was a red zone period today where the Chargers offense was out there for about 10 plays. The first team offense, and they could not get in the end zone. They had the Saints batted down 2 passes to the line of scrimmage. Malcolm Roach flashed again. He's having a really good camp. Marcus May came in off a blitz and batted the ball down at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they were stout in there. So there's some moments where you kind of want to see more out of them. They played a little bit of a kind of a laid-back zone defense in a 2-minute drill. They completed way too many easy passes. The pass rush wasn't getting home because the Chargers were playing so quick offensively. And then once things started to develop a little bit, the pass rush started to get home a little bit more. So still kind of like the offense, just some hit or miss. But, I think this is going to be a good Chargers football team, and I think we saw some good things from the Saints against them, which is important.
What was your impression of Justin Herbert here as a younger quarterback who's coming into his own in this league, kind of on the verge of stardom? I'm kind of curious to know your evaluation of him today against that really good Saints secondary.
I think he has a really, really impressive command of things, right? Which is, when you think about Justin Herbert, you think about the physical skills. I mean, the guy is huge. Like, he looks like a transformer out there.
Yeah, he's big. He's 6'5", and I think people realize he's so athletic for being that tall.
He's a much better athlete than you'd think, because he's just a kind of looks like a big gangly guy, but he is a great athlete. So that's when you think about Justin Herbert, you think about a guy who can throw the ball 50 yards on a rope and he can move really well, and he's this great athlete. But I think today he was just in complete command of what they were doing. He's going to be a very, very, very good quarterback for a long time. And I'm really curious to see tomorrow if they kind of unleash him a little bit more, because today it was like a lot of think and dunk and get the ball out of his hands. It's what they wanted him to do, and he accomplished it. He must have completed about 80% of his passes today. But I want to see some of those like vintage Justin Herbert lasers tomorrow and see how the Saints fare against that.
Yeah, and I think in some ways, you have to know what you're watching out here, right? When they go to like one-on-ones and things like that, and with the receivers going against a DB, the receiver's going to win most of those battles.
Yeah.
Because he knows where he's going. There's no help for the DB, so those tend to favor the offense. And then as they add defenders, go to 7-on-7, you notice the completion percentage start to go down. And then when it goes to full team drills, it gets hard, and that's what we saw today. So I think it's important to know what you're watching when you start seeing this. A lot of these reports that come out of there, because if it's one-on-ones, the receiver is almost always going to win those drills.
Almost always.
Yep.
Even Marshawn Lattimore, who's had a crazy good camp, got absolutely turned around in one-on-one. It's favoring those guys every time. So don't take too much stock out of those. I think Cam Jordan even made a comment today about some of the reports in the one-on-one battles. But it is interesting. It's fun to watch anyways.
And the big winners actually was us and the Saints.
Yeah.
Escaping the heat. All the players and coaches talking about how great it was to be out here today.
Yeah, I went for a run this morning. It was like 65 degrees. I'm not sorry. It was awesome. Yeah, I think that's all we got right now, guys. We'll be back out here tomorrow. We'll come with another report. You can read all of our stuff over at NOLA.com. Jeff and I are going to be putting out a bunch of stuff up there, so stay with us, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.